Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today I am going to show you a super quick, super easy recipe for pie crust. So a recipe for pie crust, pretty much across the board, they're going to be the same unless you're adding in other flavors or different types of flour. So the recipe itself, very simplistic. But if you are like me and you have problems with making pie crust by hand, this is the way that I've found to do it. It's basically foolproof, and it's fantastic, quick and easy, nice and clean, and you don't have to worry about if your hands naturally run warm, if your kitchen naturally runs warm, any of that. So I am making a double batch today. If you want to make only a single crust version, you can just cut the measurements in half. We have 2.5 cups of flour in my food processor with the blade attachment. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of sugar, and then we're going to blitz that together just to get it combined. And then we are going to add in our butter, which is going to be 2 sticks or 1 cup of very cold butter. And what I did is I threw this butter straight from the fridge into the freezer for about 20 minutes before I started. So it's nice and chilled, but still kind of workable. Just a note, if you do break it up into smaller pieces before putting it in here, it will have less of that like shaking that you see with this. I don't really care, I just do it. Okay, now you're gonna start checking your flour here little by little. Now clearly I've got lumps of butter that are too big, but you just want to start checking it for the right texture. Okay. Now I'm still seeing some clumps that are a little bit too big, like this guy, but we're getting closer. You do want some clumps in there, but not a ton of them that are too big. All right. And now, and if you feel it too with your hands, you should feel the coolness of that butter. There should be some that are a little bit bigger than others, but most of it's pretty well incorporated. And now the next thing that we're going to do is start adding in our liquid. If you feel that this is going to overwork your dough, or you just are like me and scared that you're going to mess it up no matter what you do, you can add in a tablespoon of vinegar, either white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. I have done it with and without. The result has been pretty much the same, but adding the vinegar in just basically makes sure that you can't overwork the dough. So if you're a little concerned, add a tablespoon in. And then we're going to add up to 1/2 cup of very cold water. If you want it to be super cold, you can add some ice in here. I just go and grab a bottle of water from the fridge and put it in here. It might be more than 1/2 cup, it might be less. Basically, we're going to take our cues from what the dough looks like. So we're going to add in some water and then blitz it again. It's still very liquidy or floury in there, so we know it's not ready yet. Okay, I'm gonna end up adding our whole 1/2 cup. I've very seldom used less than 1/2 cup. Okay, now we're gonna take a look at the texture. So you see how it's like clumping together a bit on the sides, but it's not all the way there yet. What that means is we're very close. So we're almost there, and this is the stage where you want to start adding your water just like a tablespoon at a time to make sure you don't add too much water. So I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of water and do it again. right where I want it. It's gonna kind of look like cottage cheese. It's gonna still be a little bit apart from each other. I'm gonna go ahead and just run this just a little bit longer just to pull it together. Okay. Once you see it really start to pull off the sides and clump together like that, that's pretty much your cue that it's done. Then what we're gonna do is just turn it out onto a clean counter. It's not clean anymore, but it used to be. And we're just going to bring it all together. And I can tell feeling the dough, it's moist. It's not over moist, but if we had added any more water in there, it definitely would have been over moist. Now, depending on what you're doing, if you're planning on rolling this out in one big lump, you can stop there and just wrap this up and let it rest in the fridge for about half of an hour. I'm doing a pie with a top and a bottom crust, so I'm going to just mold it into 2 rounds, cover this with plastic wrap, set it in my fridge for about half an hour to let it rest. Look how beautiful that crust is. You can hear it sizzling. That egg wash made it nice and just brown and beautiful. Now, of course, I did do an egg wash on this. I did put sugar on top, so some of what you're seeing is that. But I am telling you, this crust is amazing. Very few ingredients, pretty much ingredients that you always have on hand. And as long as you've got a food processor, you really can't mess it up. This is coming from someone who could never make a good pie crust. This crust is amazing. This is way better than the stuff that you buy in the stores. I highly recommend that you try it, and I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a like down below, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.